Our story is one that is much more than chasing a boxing championship. There is a personal side to the Chacon story as well. This year, Bobby Chacon has had to fight a lot more than opponents in the ring. Our Pat O'Brien has more.
Far away from the glitter of Hollywood in Los Angeles is this high-crime, high-unemployment neighborhood in the San Fernando Valley. It was in streets like this where boxer Bobby Chacon grew up. And when you grow up in streets like this, you grow up tough. It was indeed a tough time back then, Chacon tells us now. The kind of deal where if you didn't fight, you didn't fit in. Bobby Chacon fit in.
There's always fights on the streets. You go out of I used to run away to the projects, and you go down the street a little bit, and you could be in a fight in a second. It's all depending if you wanted to or not.
It was finally Chacon's young wife who told him that as long as he was going to fight, he might as well do it for money, not just neighborhood honor. And it wasn't long before Bobby Chacon's fighting skills were well known in more places than the barrios. His first year out, 1972, he didn't lose a fight. In fact, all but one was a knockout. He became a regular at the famed Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles, firing up the crowds with his quickness, short punches, and devastating left hook. In 1974, he captured the WBC featherweight title from Alfredo Marcano, but lost it within a year. But that didn't stop him. He became obsessed with his boxing. And while people all around him were saying he was over the hill, he was telling himself he was still climbing it. With the hopes of a title shot growing dimmer and dimmer for Bobby Chacon, he decided to spend a little more time with his family. It was his wife, Valerie, who suggested they move to the country, get out of the fast lane of Los Angeles. So Bobby took some of that fight money and bought 20 acres of Butte County here in Northern California. He was after a little peace and quiet is what he got, but not for long.
A boxer has to give up a lot of things. He can't eat. He can't be a husband very well. He can't even be a father at times because he's always in training camp, training hard, can't do this, can't do that. Got to follow all the rules. Boxing's got a lot of restrictions. It's just like a wife, too. And my wife was jealous of that.
But Bobby Chacon didn't listen just then. He was preparing for yet another fight. So while he went away to yet another camp, Valerie stayed home in the back hills of Butte County and, according to friends and relatives, became increasingly depressed. She sought professional help, but it didn't work. Nothing did. On March 15th this year, she put a .22 rifle to her head and killed herself.
I figured she already had it made up in her mind that she was going to. I was gone those 4 days, and they didn't tell me till after, but she was pacing. The last 3 nights, up all night long. Now, why? Why don't I know these things? Why do they want to keep this stuff away from me?
The next day, the very next day, Chacon was back into the ring. All advice to the contrary, he wanted to now fight more than ever. This fight was for Valerie and $6,000. There was talk that Bobby Chacon was so tough, he'd lost his emotion.
Must have been a state of shock or something. You know, I just had to go through with the thing.
In fact, it wasn't until he eliminated Juan Salvador Ugalde that it seemed reality set in. Finally, there were tears. And instead of a championship medal or belt, something more meaningful. His brother brought to the ring Valerie's wedding band and put it around Chacon's neck.
Tonight, the hamburger a la mode.
4 months now after his wife's death, Chacon is trying to put his life back together. He's learned to cook.
I think that's enough, I hope.
To be the head of the household, help with homework, play video games with his kids.
I can't ever beat this game.
Take them to school, pick out their clothes. In short, be a mother and a father and, of course, a boxer all in one. There are highs and there are lows. Mostly, there are memories.
There she is. Big as life. Where is she now? There she is. She didn't like this. She told me to cut it out. I said I liked it. How come I want to cut it out? Yeah, we had a lot of good times.
Chacon himself says it might be a bit morbid to be so open about such a tragic ending to his marriage. But it makes him feel good, he says, to talk about Valerie. Bring her back every now and then. Forget about fighting for a while. He's doing something athletes seldom do. Look back at a loss.
I look at those pictures, I see her smile. I see her doing something. I see her by her horses. I see her with the kids. I see her hugging me, holding me. I'll cry right now. So much I miss her.
Bobby Chacon thinks the fight to forget what happened will never be over, but there have always been other fights in Bobby Chacon's life, the ones in the ring, the ones that have bells, the ones you get paid for, the ones that bring pain, the kind of pain you expect to the body, not to the heart.
I'll say it because I hope I can help and with my own problems. I never thought things like this would happen to me, but they have, so they can happen to you too. Be careful. Be careful in what you do in your everyday life, you know. Don't take everything for granted like I did. I was sure Valerie was with me forever.
Pat O'Brien, CBS Sports, Oroville, California.
Chacon won a fight last Tuesday night, and he someday hopes to fight again for the championship.